Make sure you tune in to True Hill Heat Podcast.
This is Timothy Barr from MLW. Make sure you give a listen to one of the greatest podcasts in the world, True Heel Heat.
What's up, guys? It's Wolverine, Death Machine, Mr. GMSI himself, Brian Cage, and you're watching True Hill Heat. Who better? Nobody.
This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for Rated Raw Review, Episode 10, Cody's Shield, discussing the February 12th, 2024 edition of WWE Raw as only we can. Of course, to do that, I am joined by the face and the ace of the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. It's your boy, Romeo. What's going on?
What's up, bro? You know I'm your shield. Any day of the week, I am your shield. SP3, you know that always.
Always, especially on Tuesdays. especially
Yes.
on Tuesdays. But yes, you have joined us for another rated Raw review discussing WWE Raw as we are on the road to WrestleMania, mere weeks before our latest stop at Elimination Chamber, as we had some qualifying matches on this show, and we had the response of Cody Rhodes following up from the WrestleMania 40 kickoff show. So we're going to talk about all of that. So sound off in the live chat. As always, we're an interactive YouTube channel here, so we always appreciate what you sound off with in the live chat and interacting with us here. And of course, we appreciate y'all if you're joining us live, watching us on the band. Show that appreciation back the simplest way possible. Drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And like I said before, sound off in the live chat. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you can send a super chat donation. That is also important to what we do. It gives back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always love to hear your comments, your questions about Monday Night Raw. So those super chat donations also help us out in creating the conversation like that. So we got in our chat already one of our great members, the Queen Monet, who says hello. We got King Potato in the chat with us. We got Chucks, who is here with us, a new person in the chat. Eric Isaacs in the chat. Frantic World, thanks for joining us. Romeo, any lingering thoughts about this week's Monday Night Raw, or overall thoughts before we get into this week's show?
Good show, good build for Chamber, good build for Mania as well. The crowd was good, Lexington, Kentucky, very nice, and yeah, this is mostly towards Chamber build, and looking forward to that. And I'll be here. I will be here at 5 a.m. in the morning, at least me. I don't know if anyone else will, but I come alive in the nighttime. That's nothing for me. I will be there. Elimination Chamber watch along for all our people across the sea, across the ocean, who are up at that time anyways. You won't be alone.
Yeah, I don't know. I might be alone for the review later in the day, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Since we're gonna have to do the review on Saturday, and then True Heel Heat will most likely be moved to Sunday that weekend. So you got one more weekend of the regular Saturday podcast, and we'll see. I'll talk to Chrissy and the gang about moving things over to Monday that week.
SP3 sounds so annoyed at this.
I am annoyed. I am annoyed. I'm a very, I think a very important factor of the growth of our channel has been consistency and reliability. They know they could come here on a Thursday and they're always CAE ramble, but most especially they know they can come here on a Saturday and they know they see the Flagship podcast. So I'm very annoyed when I have to move it.
One weekend, one measly weekend.
It's not one weekend. I'm probably gonna have to move it WrestleMania weekend too.
That is true.
Jeez, and then they're going to France in May. Like, I'm never gonna catch a break. Yeah, Germany. Yeah, like this is a multiple week thing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just warning everybody.
Damn you, Nick Khan!
Nick Khan with your stadium shows. We got King Potato saying, "I'll be here." SP3. Does that count for anything? It of course counts. You all count. We got Dolores in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Dolores. Saying, join True Hill Heat Patreon. The best money you will spend, especially right now, because we got plenty of great content over there. We got a special video that's going to be dropping later today. That's going to be talking about True Hill Heat Sports, so you could check that out before it drops on True Hill Heat Sports tomorrow. But yes, check all that out on the Patreon as well. But let's get into last night's Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw taking place from the Rump Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. Like you said, the show started off showing us Cody arriving at the building, the latest theme of the new production team from WWE, showing people arriving at the building like it's an NBA or NFL game. And the show kicked off a rare occasion, kicking off with an actual match. I was stunned. I was beyond disbelief. We're starting with a match. Jey Uso and the Judgment Day coming out to face the Imperium.
I was very upset there was no promo to welcome me to Monday Night Raw.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I like the change of pace. We don't need a welcome to Monday Night every free. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Let's get to the physicality. The story of this matchup was really Gunther avoiding getting physical with Jey Uso for a large portion of the matchup. Jey tagged out after a break. New Day ran wild on Vinci and Kaiser. Got a lot of action between these two teams, showing their aggression toward one another. At one point, they isolated Kofi. Gunther locks on a Boston Crab on him, and Jey straight up comes in the ring and slaps him. The referee has to separate the two men before we go to commercial break. Jey finally makes the hot tag after the commercial break. He starts running wild for a bit with strikes that get the yeet chant. Gunther looks on in annoyance. Jey hands out running hip attacks with the Usos, super kicks to Kaiser, and then Vinci in midair. Gunther finally tags in where him and Jey go at it. This was a good sequence of events between the two guys. Jey comes back at Gunther with an enziguri and a flying crossbody. He goes for his spear, but Gunther blocks it, chops him before also taking down the New Day on the apron. He hits a big old rainmaker for a near fall. Gunther mocks Jey Uso's pose. Then he tries for the splash off the top rope, but that's not his game. So Jey gets his knees up, countering. Jey spears Gunther for a very close near fall, but Kaiser comes into the ring to break up the cover. Vinci tags in, but New Day takes out Kaiser on the outside with multiple different dives. They come into the ring and they wipe out after wiping out Kaiser, they come into the ring for a triple 1D, a 3D, if you will. And then Jey follows up with the Uso splash for the 1-2-3 to give the baby faces the win. Jey Uso and the New Day picking up a measure of revenge over the New Day. Over Imperium. I thought this was a really strong open to the show, a very good, fun trios matchup. Jey Uso picking up a very important win here, as later on in the night, we would get an interview with all three men celebrating, and it was announced by Jackie Redmond that Gunther will defend the Intercontinental Championship against Jey Uso next week in Anaheim. That should be a banger.
This was cool. You know, Jey and New Day actually fit together for an alliance. Like Jay's energy matches the New Day's energy. And this was like what you said. It was like using this match to build up to Jey and Gunther. And they didn't give away too much when they actually went toe-to-toe in the ring, save it for the match. 3-man 1D was nice. And I don't normally like when established teams, trios, stables, factions, whatever, lose to teams that don't team often. But in this case, I could let it slide because New Day is one of the greatest tag teams of all time, and Jey Uso is one half of one of the greatest tag teams of all time as well. So,
and they're a part of the greatest tag team rivalry probably in WWE history. So they would know each other and work well with one another.
Yeah. And Jey ain't beating no damn Gunther anyway, so get your win here. And
basically, I would say that Jey Uso with the New Day is WWE's answers to AEW's Mark Briscoe with FTR.
Good comparison. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, for sure. It applies to both trios. But I was hoping it still can happen, but I was hoping Jey and Gunther, when they do have that match, main events. But I don't know now that they added that other match at the end that we'll talk about. So, but they did load up next week's Raw. Jeez, the go home show for Chamber.
Yeah, it's a big one. I thought they would save the Jey and Gunther matchup for San Jose, which is the following Monday. Yeah, it's the Monday after Elimination Chamber, but hell, go out with a bang up until Chamber here. We do have a super chat donation from the good brother Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. As always, we got Will who says, sorry, SP3, it's a monkey's paw. Get WWE show outside the US, but you got to move the show. No yeet. Yeah, no yeet. No yeet. I got to do the agenda on a whole different day. Got to talk about the Chamber on True Hill Heat that week. Can't do predictions for the show. Like, goddamn, messing everything up. We got
a preview.
Yeah, of course. We'll have the preview as per usual. Queen Monet saying, does Jimmy cost Jey next week?
Yeet.
I'm hoping that we get some type of segment on SmackDown to set it up, though.
Correct.
Yeah. After them totally forgetting about one another in the Raw Rumble, it would feel kind of like, oh, okay. All right.
They didn't forget. They started 1 and 2. They just
Huh?
got the wrong elimination.
Exactly. They just forgot about each other. We got another super chat donation from DJ Eric, and it is a big happy birthday to DJ Eric. Thank you so much, DJ Eric. He says, happy 21st birthday to me. Happy birthday
to you, DJ Eric.
to
To you.
you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
birthday,
dear DJ
Eric.
Eric. Happy birthday to you. Look at that. Super chat gets your birthday song. Like, that was beautiful.
And
we harmonized it. It was great.
I was gonna ask, was he in attendance for Raw since it's in Kentucky area? And it sounds like it was.
There we go. Hopefully DJ Eric had a great time in the crowd last night at the Rump. We get highlights from the video package recapping the WrestleMania 40 press conference. Then there was an Andrade video package as he spoke about winning NXT and United States Championship gold after starting his wrestling career at just 15 years old in Mexico, working his way up, becoming a champion there, becoming a champion in NXT, becoming a champion on the main roster when he arrived in WWE. Titles weren't enough, and he had to leave to remember who he was. Now his direction was clear. And seems like it's the first part of a vignette series, but I thought this was a nice little intro package for Andrade here.
Indeed, the Andrade vignette was nice, but man, I'm a little worried because it is crowded on Raw, especially in the babyface department. It's gonna be tough if that's the role they have for him. So they gotta navigate their way through this, minefield of star power on Monday Night Raw.
I think he's gonna have to be a heel.
And that's an opportunity. That there is an opportunity for heels on Raw.
Yeah,
because you got Drew McIntyre, you got Shinsuke, you got the Judgment Day, and then what?
It's Drew, it's Judgment Day, big gap, then Nakamura. So that gap can be filled by Andrade.
You got Bronson Reed.
No. It's
Gunther.
Drew,
Don't forget Gunther.
Yeah, it's Drew, Judgment Day, Gunther, and Imperium, and then there's a gap between them, and then.
And can I talk about this press conference thing? Because I know we did the watch along, but I didn't get to say more on like True Heel Heat or anything. But this was cinema. Man, am I glad The Rock pivoted. The heel, Bloodline, corporate, Hollywood Rock, whatever you want to call it. It's
corporate high chief.
It's so much more interesting. This scenario, The Rock sounds like he's going to get his match with a tag match. Seth gets his main event. Everyone gets Cody and Roman. Everybody wins. But part of me still thinks maybe Rock and Cody may be in cahoots on this whole thing, and they're just tearing down the bloodline from inside.
Oh no.
A little bit.
You're not seeing the story. You're not seeing the story. Cody is basically Steve Rogers in Infinity War. He's putting back the Avengers. We saw them in, Age of Ultron, which was War Games. And now he's putting them back together. Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. Iron Man came up and said he would be Cap's shield on this episode. He went backstage and he was trying to build back the confidence of Spider-Man. And he's putting back the Avengers, y'all.
Yeah, I like that story better. Because heel Rock is fun. We should get more of that. We shouldn't end it so quickly. And you have a year.
I am very much believing what he said. I'm a long gamer. I think that he has set himself up for a 3 WrestleMania set, even bigger than what he did a decade ago when he came for a 2 WrestleMania set. He set himself up for 3 WrestleManias where he could do the tag match this year. He could do him and Cody next year. And then he can do him and Roman the year after that, because by 2026 as well, I also thought about this last night watching the video package, is that by 2026, because I'm thinking about next year is outside the US, it's going to be available on Netflix. 2026 is when their deal is up with Peacock. So it might be available on Netflix worldwide by 2026, which is the big picture thing that Rock would do. That's going to be the most watched WrestleMania of all time. He might be thinking that far ahead.
And I wonder if after Roman isn't champion anymore, would people let off of him a little bit, and you can tell the story of him turning him babyface versus heel Rock.
Oh, that
he's
was
lost
always,
everything.
That's always been that's why I think like the perfect scenario for WrestleMania this year is Rock beats Cody in that tag match, and then Cody beats Roman. So then you also have the added element of the story of who is in charge of the bloodline, and Rock has a serious claim to it because he's in the board of directors. He's the biggest star in Hollywood, one of the biggest mainstream celebrities out there, and he owns a victory over the guy that beat Roman. So in that archy, and then the whole long-term story of Solo was only sent here by the elders. Is Rock a member of the elders? And as the corporate high chief, he can make the call for be like, Solo, take care of my light work. It'd be like Roman's always been the one who's been putting the directions and putting the orders. But imagine they're in the ring and Rock Bell's like, so, and gives Solo the look, and Solo just Roman.
It could work, man. You could, after all this, you can make the Roman come out of this looking real humble. He's lost everything, and people will get behind it. People want to cheer Roman.
And you could do that in between 40 and 41 to set up Solo versus Roman for 41. And then that parlays into 42 with Roman and Rock.
The long game.
The long game. Long game. You got to think long game, guys. They're patient now. We got
finishing the story is like finishing like one saga, and then we're starting a whole new saga, which is with The Rock.
Yes. We got DJ Eric who says 2003 heel Rock was good, but I wish it lasted longer than it did. And you're getting it back. What, like 2 decades later? 2 decades later, you get it rewind back.
I like it more if like the goofiness is toned down a bit and it's more serious, ruthless Rock, which we don't really get too often.
Yeah. We also got here a super chat donation from Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. Once again, he says he remembered that his list, AEW, his last AEW storyline was a side guy between a meanie and a mean guy and his wife cuckold storyline. By the way, we haven't seen. Oh, I think he's talking about Andrade. Yeah. I think Miro's been basically it's like the Britt Baker thing where Britt was off of TV because Adam Cole got injured. It feels like Miro's been off of TV because CJ Perry hasn't been healthy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the finger and stuff. So
that I had to see on social media. Thanks. No warning, nothing. Just here's my mangled finger. Enjoy.
DJ Eric saying Hollywood Rock theme was and still fire. Absolutely.
I wonder if they'll change his theme.
Oh God, please don't give Def Rebel that job. Don't do that.
Who?
Def Rebel. Don't do that.
All right, because like I got my own guys.
I got my own guys. I'm sorry.
Where's Jimmy Johnson?
The Rock's got his own guys. We got get next our next elimination chamber qualifier match. We got B-Fab and the Street Profits coming out with Bobby Lashley. WWE, make up your fucking mind on a name. I've given you Street Business. I've heard awful people who think that Hurt Profits is better. That's an awful name. and
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense because now BFAB's here. Street business makes sense on a couple of different levels because BFAB's whole characters from the streets as well. Lashley's giving them the business, gave them the business suits. It makes a whole bunch of sense. Just use the freaking name. Stop
Give 'em a
calling them by
name.
all their fucking names. That seems like a very long-winded intro.
Bro, it's been how
Especially
many
when
months?
they're feuding with a stable that's been together less time and they got a name.
How many months have these guys been together? They don't have a name. What the fuck? Come on, guys.
You guys have no identity together. You're Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits and now BFAB. We added a name. We didn't make a name for everybody. We added another name.
Yeah, I have seen this. They like he's on Twitter. He calls it the Pride, but can we translate it to the television already? What are we doing?
But even the Pride, that sucks.
I'll take that. That's fine. I'll take it.
But the Pride. I'm sorry.
I'll take it.
That's not very good. Street business is better than the Pride too. It's like Jesus. If it's
Well, Lashley don't want to be
just
associated with the
use it.
streets. He's outgrown the streets, Lashley.
No, he's the business side. He's the business side. Sometimes
He
you
doesn't
could
want
be
any- he doesn't want
you could be Rhodes scholars, and it was Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest was the scholar side. You say it's two sides.
He's trying to uplift the Street Profits from the streets. That's why they dress
Exactly.
like fancy suits now.
Well, first he was dealing in the business of hurt, and now he's got to bring the streets to bring a different edge, to bring them success. But you got next Bobby Lashley in an Elimination Chamber qualifying matchup against Bronson Reed. Now, I thought when Bronson Reed was listed on the list of Elimination Chamber, participants for the qualifiers, I was like, oh, yeah, like that makes sense. He can get in the chamber, get the big spot in the Australia matchup. But this match here, that's how I felt watching the finish to this matchup. But this matchup here was a nice little Haas fight. It didn't get too much time. It got 8 minutes, 41 seconds, and I believe a commercial was in between that. So we only got to see really 5 minutes or so of this matchup. But it was nice, hard hitting, big brutes going at it, hitting each other hard. Reed hit a big Death Valley driver for a 2 count. Lashley came back with a Spine Buster for a 2 count of his own. Lashley blocks a spear. Reed blocks a spear and hits a Uranagi and a big senton. He goes up top for the tsunami, but Lashley cuts him off, gives him a big power slam off the top rope. At that point, I was like, no, they're not going to really do this. Like, I was so sad for him. I was like, they're not going to really do this. Lashley got ready, hits the spear. 1, 2, 3. Lashley advances and qualifies for the World Heavyweight Championship #1 contenders Elimination Chamber matchup along with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Love the stories there. You had the 3 champions of the pandemic era, basically, of the WWE champions of Drew, Randy, and Lashley. Love them. Those being the first
I didn't
3
even
guys.
put all that together. You're right.
Yeah, those being the first 3 guys in the chamber matchup. So I love that. But I got a feel for Bronson Reed here. First, it feels like this match got cut short or got cut on time because only 5 minutes of it was shown. And him not winning, you could tell the disappointment in his voice when they did that digital exclusive, him saying that he let his people down.
Yeah, these two, I think, had a more memorable confrontation on a previous Raw, but this was a fine Haas fight. The crowd oohed and awed at all the power moves. I didn't think there was any way Lashley was losing clean.
No, I thought Final Testament would come out.
Oh, I forget they exist, honestly, and they just started existing. Bronson's got no road to Elimination Chamber. Screw a road to Mania. I don't even got a road to Elimination Chamber.
No Intercontinental title match. So
I've seen some people saying, "Oh, maybe he gets added on a last chance qualifier," but there is no last chance.
There is no last chance.
They showed you all the 12 guys.
They literally showed us all 12 guys. Unless he attacks somebody on like SmackDown, maybe like Kevin Owens or something.
No, I think you know what they could do at Chamber. Screw it, because this guy doesn't have anything going either. Bronson Reed versus Grayson Waller. Does he have anything?
What? That just seems mad random. They're both heels.
But Bronson can play a babyface for one night.
They're both babyface then. They're both from Australia.
Ah, true. Well, just let them fuck each other up then. Here you go, folks. These you guys. We're gonna put them against each other.
No, it's gonna be Bronson, Austin Theory, and Grayson Waller versus the LWO.
What?
If you want randomness,
These Latinos.
yeah, fuck the Latinos.
LWO heels in Australia.
Yep, heels in Australia.
That's
Fuck
funny.
it. Fuck it then. If you're just gonna make a random matchup, why the fuck not? We got DJ Eric who says if I was Bronson, I'd pull on an Edge and take someone out. There you go.
Take out Miz. Don't take out Kevin Owens. Who's Miz fighting? Logan Paul.
Yeah,
But then Logan Paul's not losing.
Logan Paul's not losing because the whole reason we would get our later qualifier is because I feel like that's setting up his Mania matchup here. But I mean, I still don't know what's going on with him and AJ Styles, but we'll get to that. Next up, we get Sami Zayn with another sit-down interview like last week. Jackie Redmond interviews Sami Zayn in the stands before the show. Zayn says that there was a feeling of embarrassment in sports when you say you're going to do something and you fail. He's failed by losing to Randy Orton in the qualifier for the Elimination Chamber, and he's had that feeling many times in his career, and the difference now was that he had an overwhelming feeling of self-belief. The belief last year is that what drove him to WrestleMania. He talks about standing in that ring last year with Cody Rhodes and talking about how he believed in him, that he can main event WrestleMania, and he plans on using that belief to get to WrestleMania again, and he planned on becoming a champion, and that was a promise. But in the middle of this sit-down interview, Shinsuke Nakamura appears on the screen with apparently a pre-taped promo. He taped the promo and then went to the production truck as Sami was doing this interview before the show and told him, play it. Nakamura compared him to Cody Rhodes and said that he was swindling people by trying to gain their sympathy to stay in the spotlight. Zayn's chance was over, and Nakamura would continue on his warpath. When he said that, I was like, a warpath of fucking losing? But, I mean, hey. But this was a nice setup for the main event.
And not just that, I love how like Sami is a focus heading to Mania. They're really putting a lot of attention towards the Sami story, which is, has me thinking it's probably leading to something good for Sami, I hope. But heel Shinsuke continues to deliver for me. I like his persona, but he's got to win matches. He's got to win sometimes. And we'll talk about that later.
Yes. We get the WrestleMania trailer airs at this point. Any notes on that?
I love it. It came out great. Short and sweet.
Yeah. It was basic.
And it's
I didn't understand the people that was like raving about it. It was very well
beautiful.
done.
Well done.
WWE does great production.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Cody Rhodes is out next. He wants to talk about WrestleMania, and he says that he was facing Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania 40, and it took him a while to be able to say that. But the reason he could say it now was because of the fans. He spoke about the social media reaction last week, and he said, right on cue, he said, it seems like the fans have been saying one thing, and the fans chanted, "We want Cody." Cody says that he wasn't sure how he could repay them, but maybe there was one way, and he looked at the WrestleMania sign and finish his story. Rhodes admitted that he was getting emotional because of how much he cared. He didn't want to get too emotional, though, because maybe he'd be a crybaby. The crowd booed and started to chant, "Rocky sucks! Rocky sucks! Rocky sucks!" He says there was one man who did not want Cody, and that man just happened to be perhaps the most famous person alive, a potential presidential candidate and the original People's Champion, The Rock. Rhodes played a clip from what Rock had to say on the Pat McAfee show, cutting a promo on Cody and his fans, saying about the Cody crybabies and saying that the fans ate chicken nuggets or shoved the chicken nuggets up their ass while they were complaining online. This led to Rhodes saying that promos were different now than when The Rock was first around. And then he says, but what are we supposed to do with the chicken nuggets? Rhodes then says that he was a fan of The Rock. He questions to Pat McAfee, who responds and says that, yeah, he said he wanted to shove it up. Yeah, his bum. But he says that he was Rhodes says he's a fan of The Rock, but one thing Rock did not do well was listen. Cody said that nothing to defile the ancestors of The Rock, but he still took his words personally and slapped him in the face. Rhodes saw malice in Rock's face, and Rock put his hands on him, so that meant one thing: I'm gonna hit you back. This led to Seth freaking Rollins coming out to the ring to interrupt. Rhodes cut off Seth before he could say anything, and he said he thanked him for coming to his aid at the press conference. And Seth had the perfect response. He says, "What else can I say but you're welcome?" That was great. That was a great response. He says he was looking forward to defending his title against Cody at WrestleMania, but he understood his decision. Rollins knew that Rhodes and millions of fans wanted him to finish his story. Rollins told Rhodes that he needed to finish his story, though. He needed to finish his story for himself, for his dad, for me, for the fans. If Cody does not beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, the landscape after WrestleMania will be very dark. Reigns would get more power and would defend his title even less. And the glass ceiling...
Half of WWE would get snapped away.
Exactly. Thanos. He's the Thanos level threat. The glass ceiling would get even thicker. This was probably their last chance to get that title back and give it to the people. This was like the whole big comic book movie kind of setup here. Rollins wanted to know what Rhodes' plan was, though, because he got to admit, he was like, Rhodes won the Royal Rumble last year, and he was screwed. He said thanks to the Usos, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman. He said the deck was stacked. He was like, he couldn't overcome it, but you were able to overcome it. You were able to get back to the Royal Rumble, win the Royal Rumble, get back to WrestleMania to finish your story. But when you look at it again, the deck is stacked again. And now he had to deal with not just Jimmy Uso, not just Paul Heyman, not just Solo. Now he had to deal with the most influential man in the entertainment industry, The Rock. But Rollins told him, you do not have to fight this battle alone. Rollins really felt it when Cody said he wanted to take everything from Reigns. Rollins was sick of people like Roman Reigns, like The Rock, always getting away with what they wanted. Part of who Roman has become was partially his fault, too. Rollins spoke about, he said that he debuted with Roman Reigns. He walked down those steps over a decade ago wearing flak jackets. But he said that he could never imagine the monster that Reigns would become. Now that monster had two heads because Reigns found the one man who was as entitled and selfish as he was, he needs help. When it comes to fighting the Bloodline, when it comes to fighting The Rock, when it comes to fighting Roman Reigns, there is only one man on earth who is uniquely suited to be your shield. Great line. And he says that just think about it, but they can work together. This was, I will go as far to say, the best promo of Seth Rollins' career.
Wow.
Like, this knocked it out the park. I thought the stuff with CM Punk, but it just seems like the CM Punk promo was like him flipping a switch. And he's gotten better with the promos. I felt like the Drew McIntyre feud, he was getting more serious with his character. But ever since Punk's come back, It seems like Seth Rollins has got the battery in his back. He's been wanting to prove a point with these promos, and every promo has been good. Some have been great, but this was superb. This was next level in setting up WrestleMania's double main event and making it look so big. And I talked about it with Jimmy yesterday. We were filming for his channel. And I was like, this main event tag team matchup checks so many boxes. I can only imagine Triple H with his gravelly voice. And he's like, yeah, you would just do the tag team matchup at WrestleMania 40 on the first night. Checks a lot of boxes. We got to get the Rock in the main event. He's got to get that in his contract. He signed that when he got with TKO, and Seth Rollins wouldn't have main evented if CM Punk, him and CM Punk was supposed to be the main event, but CM Punk got injured, so we can check that box. He can get his main event. Roman and Cody will make history, back-to-back WrestleManias. We're honoring 40 years of WrestleMania with a tag team main event. It takes it like it just
WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 40,
and then Seth's promo set up the story for it as well. So like this was knock out the park, a home run segment. Despite it, I will say my only nitpick, it did go a little long.
This was great. Yeah, Seth Rollins stole the show. That Shield line, whew, absolutely gold. Absolutely gold. I did think of Ambrose, though. I was like, come on, man. He knows Roman too, Ambrose. Come on. There's one other guy out there. But this sets up the alliance with Cody and Seth. Like, this is why Seth is in the story. This is about taking out Roman and the Bloodline for good, taking everything from Roman. Cody cannot do it alone. We've seen him try to do it alone. He failed miserably. Yeah. He needs allies. He needs to, like SP3 said, assemble a team. And there's no greater one to start with than Seth freaking Rollins. Like, who knows Roman better than Seth? And Seth and Cody, these guys are tied to each other. The 3 matches they've had, Cody's return, one of his first match was Seth Rollins. This is a continuation of their story too. Like they got a rivalry, and now they're gonna have a friendship and they're gonna be allies. And we're just getting started with those two. If Roman is going down, it's gotta involve the Architect. This story is cooking. I love it. They haven't officially announced a tag match yet. I hope they do it on Friday, SmackDown, when The Rock and Roman are going to be there. And we'll actually get them 2 weeks in a row because they're taping next week SmackDown because of Chamber. So we'll get Rock and Roman back-to-back weeks. So that'll be good.
I can see that. I could definitely see that. But yeah, this was some of the best work. Like I said, I thought it was the best promo of Seth Rollins' career. Like it talking about his past with Roman Reigns, his connection to the overarching story of the Roman Reigns character, and then the Bloodline character, how that plays into that, and then this whole situation with The Rock. They made The Rock sound like a Thanos, like the Thanos level kind of threat. It's like Roman is low key. He's low key in the first Avengers.
But like Roman was already a big bad. And then you reintroduce like this. Oh, this guy used to be our hero. Now he's
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because Avengers is really Thanos sending the alien army to New York. But the illusion is that Loki is the main villain. So that's why I say, like, all this time, it's all been Avengers. It's been Avengers 1 where we've been thinking, oh, it's low-key, Roman, he's the big villain here. No, it's really Thanos.
I love you get a chance to tell a very MCU-like story and to have it really hit home at WrestleMania with a big ending. Big ending. Yeah. And 2 nights you get to tell that story.
Exactly. We got the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast in the chat. Thanks for joining us, saying this was an amazing promo. We got Safet, who says the promo was great, but I do want Roman to surpass Hulk Hogan title reign. I don't know. They kind of forced their hand with this one.
You are gonna destroy the internet if you continue this shit.
Burn down the internet if you do that shit.
Sorry.
He says, Profantic Rail says, so the Bloodline storyline is like MCU phase 4 and 5.
And Seth,
No. This is the last since SummerSlam. It's been MCU the end after Endgame into and then I feel like this whole storyline is basically Deadpool 3, where the MCU might be back.
well, like I said earlier, I feel like we're wrapping up one saga at Mania, and then we're embarking on a whole new one after.
This is true. We got King Potato, who says easily his best promo work since he was originally turned heel. I thought his promo work when he originally turned heel was fine, but it wasn't on this level. This takes years of like doing the work and getting better on the mic to get here.
I understand on Thursday why people were so down on Seth. Like, he looked like a player in the background, just getting belittled, his title getting belittled. But I feel like Seth really turned a lot of that around with this promo.
Yeah, I agree. Will Chisholm saying, with a super chat donation, by the way, thank you so much, Will. He says this felt like apology. Creed telling Apollo, he says apology, apologize. Apollo Creed telling Rocky there is no tomorrow in Rocky 3. Great Seth promo. Yeah, it felt like parts of that, as well as like an MCU, like big build up for the big bad and taking them down and putting together the team.
Never seen it, but I do know Apollo Creed. Just
You've seen MCU though,
right. But I do know he passed away recently, so R.I.P.
R.I.P. Carl Weathers. We got Mike Martin, I guess, with a difference of opinion here. He says, whoa, come on, guys. We got two great promos from Punk and Seth. Slow down. Let's see what happens. Punk's promo was not great in that promo with Seth Rollins. And you're the first person that has been in our chat that tell us that. Like, that was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, Punk set up Seth to have the great promo and kind of held back. Like, that was a good setup for what was potentially going to be a WrestleMania main event, but the greatness was Seth. That's what I said. Like, that was the first, before this promo, that was Seth's other great promo of late. That's like up there with his best promos of his whole career.
Yeah, what we saw last night was Seth's best.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Oh, he said, Mike Martin said, I meant Punk on the kickoff. My bad. Oh, that was great. Yeah, that was great by Punk.
And nobody was talking about that. That was hilarious.
Yeah. That was great by Punk. But nah, Seth's promo against Punk, Punk's promo there was great. But this was next level because it built things. It really built things. That was Punk getting off his jokes because he likes to punch authority figures. Like that was great for if you're a CM Punk fan and you know Punk is a great talker. But this was bigger than just a great promo. This built things and was a money type promo.
I mean, all you people that hate these promos in the middle of your wrestling shows. Oh, they're talking again. Just wrestle. This is great stuff they've been doing on Monday nights. My goodness. Week after week, somebody's delivering on the promos.
Yeah, we get at least one fantastic promo, either exchange or single promo on every show. It seems as of late.
You got a lot of guys on Raw that cook on the mic.
Yeah,
any week it could be Seth, Drew, Cody, Punk when he was healthy.
Yeah, very true. Very true. We get that was at this point when we got Kathy Kelly letting Jey Uso Jackie Redmond letting Jey Uso and New Day know that Jey will get the shot against Gunther. Then we got some cool pre-tape promos from Liv Morgan and Zoe Stark ahead of their Elimination Chamber qualifying matchup. And then we got their qualifying matchup here. Good competitive matchup with Zoe Stark playing more of an aggressive heel persona in this one, really kind of talking trash, talking down to Liv throughout the matchup. Liv would go for the Oblivion on a couple of different occasions. Stark would block it on 2 occasions, one time with a big super kick for a near fall. She would go to the top rope for this Phoenix Splash, but Liv was able to dodge it. She would hit a code breaker followed by the Oblivion to pick up the 1, 2, 3 in just over 9 minutes. pretty decent match here. Liv Morgan picking up the win, not a surprise, as she has a story as she's on her revenge tour trying to get to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I want to say that Liv got a bit more reaction than some of these women's singles matches I've been getting on Raw that we've been complaining about for weeks. But still not very good. But you know, they definitely pop for the ending, and good for Liv. I've grown to like Liv more over time. So this was passable. This was okay.
Yeah, I agree there. Yeah, she does know how to work the hard camera. That is for sure. We got DJ Eric who says, when Seth said Shield, fans in the arena thought he was talking about Dean Ambrose, and I am like, nope. I don't understand why fans would think Dean Ambrose.
The only reason I thought Dean Ambrose was because Seth specifically mentioned there's only one person who knows like Roman better than like. Come on, man. There was another guy next to you. Come on, Seth.
Guy right next to you, buddy. Like, get it. Let's be real here. We got next up backstage. We get the Judgment Day are walking backstage for the next matchup, but R-Truth tries to accompany the Judgment Day to the ring despite him having a matchup with JD McDonough. Damian Priest takes offense and makes it perfectly clear Truth was not a member of the Judgment Day, never was, never has been. He says that every beating he's received was a beating and not an initiation, and tonight would not be an initiation, it would be an execution. After the commercial break,
R-Truth Stone Cold looks JD McDonough in the eye and says, "Come on, dog. You know you're not a part of the Judgment Day."
You say, "Come on, dog. You know you're not part of the Judgment Day." Truth was in gorilla position after the break, trying to convince The Miz over the phone to get on a plane from LA to Lexington right now. And then Adam Pearce was there trying to get him to go to the ring. He tries to sneak out of it, but he says your music is playing and pushes him out to the ring. And that leads to our matchup of JD McDonough going one-on-one with R-Truth here. And this was your comedy matchup of the night, but R-Truth is just really good at this. He does his whole John Cena stick with his 5 moves of doom. It's the attitude adjustment, but Dom is able to get McDonough out of the ring early on. He does another comeback series, sets up for another attitude adjustment, but he stopped what he was doing upon seeing Priest at ringside, and McDonough is able to apply to cradle. He goes for a scissor kick, but McDonough is able to kick his leg out of his leg, and then he hits the devil inside the backdrop driver for the pinfall victory. McDonough actually picking up a win. I'm surprised. We very rarely see JD McDonough picking up a singles victory. He's usually the drop guy for the Judgment Day, so it was a nice surprise here. After the matchup, everyone aside from Priest jumps Truth. Truth actually fights them off for a bit until Priest steps up. They go face to face. The All of Judgment Day distract Truth, and Priest knocks him in the face with a big punch. All of Judgment Day puts the boots to Truth until Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano of DIY come out and make the save with steel chairs, running off the Judgment Day. And then after commercial break, we see the Judgment Day backstage with R-Truth, and R-Truth mistakes them for D-Generation X and asks them, where was our Road Dogg? And later on in the night, it is set up for next week, Awesome Truth and DIY versus the Judgment Day in an 8-man tag team matchup. What did you think about JD versus Truth and the post-match with DIY making the save for Truth to set up this 8-man tag here?
The phone call to Miz was funny. Like, hop on a plane to Kentucky from Hollywood. What the hell? And during this match, I don't know. There's a point where Pat McAfee, he points out that R-Truth is 52 years old, and you could hear a pin drop. Like somebody is yelling at Pat McAfee, probably Triple H. Vince McMahon definitely would have yelled, "What are you doing? You can't!" Like, you cannot tell the audience this man is 52 years old. You cannot.
He could get away with like 25, 35.
50 too. You cannot point that out. But R-Truth is a vampire. We love him.
Yes.
I'm shocked JD won clean with all of Judgment Day at ringside. His finisher is nice, actually. You hardly see it because he never wins. So Priest came off like a piece of shit with the post-match beatdown. So no more leaning towards tweener for him. and DIY making the save, continuing their feud with Judgment Day. The DX segment was hilarious. I laughed out loud. And Johnny Gargano, I saw him on Twitter. He had the DIY shirt, but the Y was crossed out with the DXX.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second, you can't put this on WWE Shop. DIX? No. You cannot.
Whoa. Yeah, relax there, guys. Relax. But yes, I thought that segment was very funny. And of course they would be the DX because they are the children of the Generation X anyway, because
Yeah, Shawn
and Paul love those two guys.
Got it right.
King Potato saying DIY have never looked more like nerds than they do now. Laugh my ass off. Complete shells of their NXT selves. Not sure why Triple H is booking them the way he has, and I don't get me started on their horrible song. They do have a horrible song, but I thought they have been doing well, but losing the the tag team title matchup is always gonna not look that great in some fans' eyes.
I couldn't disagree more with Potato here. I could not disagree more. Like, they're in the tag team division. They should have a run at the tag team division first before they venture off and do like the same thing they did in NXT. Just retell the story practically. And the theme song, I like the song. The song's catchy. The only problem with the song is that it sounds too much like Austin Theories. It's got the same cadence and everything. That's the only problem.
And then we got a super chat donation from Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. Always coming through for us here. He says, if we really want long-term story, let Truth challenge for the tag team titles, but let John Cena surprise Truth. LOL. That would be boom, mind blown.
Yeah, well, you came up with it, Will. That's all you, bro. I had never even considered that. Never even considered that, but that is the WrestleMania angle you should book if John Cena wants to participate and put over a young up-and-comer like R-Truth.
And you know what they call their team name, right?
What?
You Can't See the Truth.
I was gonna guess that if I had a bit more time, but I was just like, the anticipation was killing me, but I would have came up with that.
Thank you so much, Will, for the super chat donation. That was
with that one.
Tremendous stuff.
I hope.
Next, we get Cody Rhodes backstage with Sami Zayn. He approaches him and he thanks him for last week, helping him out, making the save from Shinsuke Nakamura and Drew McIntyre. But then he also reminds Sami Zayn that, yeah, he believes in him and he doesn't want him to doubt himself. He says not only does the fans believe in him, but he does too. He offers a handshake to Sami, but then Sami says, "What are you doing?" and gives him a big hug. Oh, that was nice. That was
you better bet that Sami Zayn is on the Cody Coalition, the Cody Avengers. I mean, you could bet the house
Spidey.
on that.
That's Spidey. That's Spider-Man.
Let's go.
Next week, all he's got to do, after a certain title match, all he's got to do is go talk to Winter Soldier. He's done with his recruitment on the Raw side, and then he'll go over to the SmackDown side and recruit Thor again.
Wait, which one's Thor?
His RKO hammer. We got him, and he never ages. We got Cody Rhodes. That happened, and then next up we get Becky Lynch kicking off our third hour, coming out to the ring. She points to a sign from a young fan who wanted to be her prom date in 2034.
Better hold her to that. You better hold her to that. Don't let her forget.
She says she would. Liz said that the road to WrestleMania has been confusing and unpredictable, and she loved it. She has loved this business since she stepped in a wrestling ring for the first time at 15 years old, and she has been obsessed with it. And that obsession has been great at times. She has traveled the world, and that obsession was why a girl who once failed gym class main evented WrestleMania. The obsession is how she met her husband and why she now has her daughter. However, that obsession is why she also has had to miss birthdays, miss weddings, her own father's funeral. She gets choked up a bit by that. Her daughter was only 3 years old, but she had already had to explain to her why her mother's face was busted open. explained that why her mother couldn't pick her up because she had a separated shoulder, and explained to her why her dad wanted to fight Maui. Great line. That popped me so much. As
And
a
the crowd.
dad, that popped me so much. Lynch says that she was going to Elimination Chamber and her daughter would see her body bruised by steel, but she would also see the brutality that her mother was capable of. Lynch was obsessed with getting her title back for the first time in 2 years, and that started with the Elimination Chamber, and that meant facing the most dominant champion we've ever seen. Lynch knew that the fans loved Mommy and that they didn't think anyone could beat her. But Becky said that she wasn't just anyone, and Rhea Ripley hasn't faced anyone like her. She says that she wants a drink from the crowd. Someone grabs her a drink. Mike Hard's lemonade, maybe. Lynch grabs the drink and has the fans raise their drinks in the air. And she toasts to Rhea Ripley and suggests that she enjoys her last few weeks as champion. She takes her drink, but she is soon interrupted by the music of Nia Jax. The crowd tells her that she sucks, and Jax tries to feign acting sincere and tells Lynch that she respected her, and she would have been lucky if her mother was half the mother that Lynch was. Jax was choked up, quote unquote, and said that she wanted to be a mother just like Becky one day. The crowd booed as she spoke. Jax said that she knew that nothing would stop Becky from winning the Elimination Chamber. But then Nia got serious and said nothing would stop her as well from beating Rhea Ripley to win the title, and Lynch would face her at WrestleMania. This brought out Rhea Ripley. This led to a whole three-way big brawl, first with Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax. Eventually, you get Becky leaning into the corner. Nia runs Rhea into Becky. She stops short of running into Becky, but then Nia squashes Rhea into Becky Lynch. Jax drops Rhea with the right hand before Becky goes to the top rope. She hits a big missile drop kick to send Nia Jax bailing to the floor. We get a brief face-off between Rhea and Becky before Nia tries to get on the apron, and Rhea boots her off, and Rhea tells Nia that she'd have to kill her to beat her for the title, and Rhea and Becky look at each other to end the segment. I really enjoyed this segment. I thought the two most effective segments on this show was the Cody and Seth segment and this one, because this one added to the buildup for the Women's Elimination Chamber, added to the buildup of Rhea and Nia, and of course added to the buildup for Becky and Rhea for WrestleMania.
Yeah, the Becky promo was strong for Chamber. I had to get a lemonade in there too. Well done. But I was absolutely shocked to see Nia Jax come out on the mic and, in my opinion, outshine her. That was great by Nia. The fake ass sincerity and emotion, played it off lovely, and the crowd hated her. It was great. And some of Nia's best work, I thought. Mommy coming out, getting her ass kicked again by Nia. Keep building that heat strong for Chamber. So when she gets her revenge there in front of her home crowd, it'll pay off more better. But boy, there's no mystery in who is winning the Chamber. None whatsoever. They are beating you over the head. You are going to see Becky and Rhea.
I love that from King Potato, Mr. Rhodes. I don't feel so good.
And Sami will play it off lovely too.
That is great. We got Queen Monet who says, I loved Becky's promo. Nia was amazing, and I will always love Pissed Rhea. That version of her is just different, and we haven't seen it throughout her title reign. So that's what makes this Rhea Ripley Nia Jax rivalry stand out from her other rivalries throughout her title reign.
Yeah, because she's somewhat the underdog now. She's always been the cocky, strong one.
Yep. We got another super chat donation from the good brother Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. He says, "Damn, Nia slick diss her mother." Yeah, that what I did. I did peep that too. I was like, you trying to say your mother is awful or something? He says, "Damn, Nia slick diss her mother. I wonder if The Rock is going to be mad at her and slap her for that."
Hey, we don't know how Nia Jax's mother was. I don't know. Maybe it's a shoot.
I mean, I ain't mad. I ain't mad.
By the way,
ain't mad.
Nia Jax, for those of you who don't know, is cousins with The Rock's mother,
Yes, she was a
which is
part
kind
of
of weird, but yeah.
She was a part of the family tree. She's a
Yep.
generation above The
Yeah.
Rock.
Which is weird, but yeah.
It's very weird. Jackie Redmond is backstage with Drew McIntyre. McIntyre says that he has only tried to give the fans what they wanted. McIntyre pushed Cody Rhodes in the right direction and was the real reason he was going after Roman Reigns. McIntyre called Seth Rollins, though, selfish, while Rhodes should be thanking him. McIntyre called himself the underdog. He had to beat AJ Styles, one of the best in the world, just to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Now he had to win one of the most dangerous matches in WWE, but he was trying to do things the right way, the Drew way. McIntyre implored Rhodes to get out of their match next week because Rhodes didn't need this right now. McIntyre warned Rhodes that he may not make it to WrestleMania, just like CM Punk. Drew, awesome, as always.
Drew only gets a few minutes, but he makes the most out of them. Talking about how he's the underdog, he does everything the right way. He pushed Cody towards finishing his story. And that was a fire line to finish with. Like, two things you should avoid. You should avoid being in my prayers and facing me one-on-one. Man, Drew, he made me laugh out loud there too, man. Drew's, has this guy signed the new contract yet? Get the new contract right in front of him. Ink to paper.
We're going to be asking this question every week, it seems like. Every week.
All that money you saved from no Okada, you better give it to Drew.
You whipped on all the free agents. All the free agents you said you were interested in. Okada, Mercedes, Osprey. If you
all
didn't
of that
have,
could pay for one Drew. All of that.
If you didn't have a fucking op in Stardom, you would have lost out on Julia too. Sheesh.
Damn Tony Khan, man, just keeps poaching all the New Japan talent, man.
Stop. Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that, Skip. Skip. Elimination Chamber qualifying matchup. LA Knight going one-on-one with Ivar. Yeah. Did not take long for Ivar to use his size against Knight with a big squish against the barricade about 90 seconds into the matchup before we go to commercial break. With Ivar on the top rope, Knight springs up to the top with an impressive superplex because he's a fucking pogo stick. We get Ivar responds with a big power slam. He follows up with a sit-out powerbomb for 2 count. Knight hits a big knee strike and then a power slam and then an elbow drop for a 2 count. Knight was distracted by Valhalla, which allows Ivar to hit a big spinning heel kick. Ivar comes back with goes to the top rope. He sets up for the Doomsault, but Knight moves out the way. He ducks, and then he hits the BFT for the 1, 2, 3, blowing a kiss to Valhalla on the way out as LA Knight advances for the Elimination Chamber matchup. But my question to you is like how we have LA Knight basically cost AJ Styles his Elimination Chamber qualifying matchup, but AJ Styles didn't even care to do the same to get revenge here. That was kind of weird, but LA Knight qualifies for the men's Elimination Chamber matchup, which is really stacked already. 3 former world champions and arguably the most popular superstar in the WWE today.
Yeah, well, no pun intended. Yeah, but it's fresh. You know, getting some. I like how these chamber qualifiers have been Raw versus SmackDown. I like that.
Yeah,
we got some fresh matchups. Cole getting annoyed at the no antlers is a funny bit with Valhalla. I don't know where that came from, but week after week, it's funny.
He's trying to get her over.
I saw some people criticizing the idea of this match. Like, you know, you obviously have not been watching Raw weekly to know Ivar's been pretty good in these singles matches, and well, except for the one time where they had him lose to Tozawa for no freaking reason.
Yes, we're gonna keep holding that against them.
I'll never get over that.
We should.
Decent match. The crowd was into Knight. The leaping superplex looked great. The ending sequence was nice. Good job.
Yes, very good stuff here. We see Sami Zayn walking through the back, and he bumps into Drew McIntyre.
Look at that walk.
McIntyre warned Sami to keep his name out of his bloody mouth and his nose out of his business. Zayn responds that you're in my way. A line that could be meant in more than one way, which he was in his way walking, but he's also in his way as far as getting to WrestleMania. I love that. McIntyre politely steps aside, but we knew that wouldn't be the last we would see of these two together.
Let me say something. I got an idea. It's kind of cheesy. You'd have to find a real good way for it to like come across on television. But is there any way, maybe, that Kevin Owens wins his spot and gives it to Sami Zayn?
No.
Yeah,
That
it come
doesn't
across a
make
little
sense.
cheesy,
Yeah.
over the top. But I was just thinking that, like, because I think Paul and Owens are going to be the final two in the chamber.
Yeah. That wouldn't make sense from Kevin Owens' character standpoint at all. Next week we're gonna get the big lineup for Monday Night Raw, as we'll talk about. We got the grudge match, like Drew said, of Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes, the Intercontinental title matchup of Gunther versus Jey Uso, DIY, R-Truth, Miz, and Judgment Day versus the Judgment Day. And then you got a last chance battle royale to figure out who's gonna qualify for the final spot in the women's elimination chamber matchup. It will be the loser of Naomi versus Zelina and Tiffany Stratton versus Shotzi from SmackDown, and the previous losers of Zoe Stark, Michin, and Shayna Baszler will participate in the battle royal, and other participants will be in it as well, as Adam Pearce was backstage in his office speaking to The Way, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell very determined to have a spot at Elimination Chamber in Australia. Chelsea Green comes in and tries to politic her way to get into the last chance battle royale, saying that she's a champion and she deserves to be in, unlike Shayna Baszler or Zoe Stark, who don't deserve to be in. They're losers. They're in the loser bracket, and of course they're right behind her and tell her to keep her mouth shut. They were also coming to speak to Pierce about getting a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, but they want to talk about the last chance battle royale as well. But Chelsea Green basically bails from this whole situation. Chelsea Green is great in these segments. That's the only big takeaway from it.
Who's going to be the final one in the battle royal?
Jade Cargill.
Oh man, I was thinking, Indy's got you're not going to keep all the Australians off the card, are you? Can we get Indy Hartwell? But no, watch it be Jade.
Jade Cargill debuts next week on Raw,
and she'll look strong in the chamber, but like you have to find a way to protect her if she gets pinned. Like they're gonna have to do all their finishers on her to make her look strong, like something like that.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna further set up the Bianca. Jade at WrestleMania.
Yeah, because I think I saw like they accidentally leaked the SmackDown Women's Chamber.
They did.
It wasn't their full images, but it was their blurry images, and one of them clearly looked like Jade.
And they said it in the writing too.
There you go.
Yeah, and then took it down. But the main
eliminates Indy last. Oh man.
The main event, you had Sami Zayn going one-on-one with Shinsuke Nakamura. After the last couple of weeks of like big time main events, this did seem like a step down. Because even like last week, it felt like a stretch of making it like bringing back the Nakamura and Cody feud for the bull rope match. But at least it was a bull rope match. And like, we've had the day one main event with Drew and Seth. You've had Seth and Jinder as a main event this year. This just felt like a step down in a way. Even Sami and Drew was a long time grudge match. This seemed like, a previous match that was great at TakeOver Dallas, but they have never had TakeOver Dallas ever again.
What was that, like 8 years ago, I think?
That's now 8 years ago, yes. Nakamura gains control in this one until Sami counters a reverse exploder, hits a big Michinoku driver for a 2 count. Zayn hits a big flip dive as we go to commercial break, less than 9 minutes into the matchup. Then Nakamura is in control. He catches Zayn with a big kick coming off the top rope. He blocks the Sami Zayn's Blue Thunder Bomb for a second time and hits an Enzuigiri. Zayn ducks a Kinshasa and then finally hits the Blue Thunder Bomb for a close near fall. Nakamura went outside to avoid a haluva kick. Zayn fights back. Nakamura responds with a stomp off the ropes for a 2 count, followed by a knee off the ropes for another 2 count. Now, Zayn fires up with a big lariat, turning Nakamura nearly inside out. He repeatedly smacks Nakamura before hitting a big exploder into the corner. Zayn sets up for the haluva kick, but he decides to turn his back on his opponent as Drew McIntyre comes down to the ring, runs down the ringside for the distraction. This allows Nakamura to kick Zayn in the knee. He follows up with the Kinshasa to the back of the head to get the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory here. Nakamura won a Raw main event. Time for a celebration. The biggest win of his whole big push that everybody's been talking about that didn't convince Nakamura's good friend Okada to come here.
Well, are you sure, Okada? Have you actually signed the contract yet, Okada? Because if you did not, look at Shinsuke winning in the main event of Raw.
Will you stop? McIntyre and Nakamura attack Zayn after the matchup. This allows Cody Rhodes to come down to the ring to make the save. He goes at it with Drew McIntyre, a little preview for next week's possible main event of the show. And then Rhodes goes at it with Nakamura, delivering the crossroads to him for the baby faces to stand tall to end the show. What did you think about Nakamura versus Zayn and the post-match with Cody McIntyre getting involved as well?
Hey, obviously, this is not going to be their NXT TakeOver match, but I thought it was a fine match. Sami losing streak continues. At least it was Drew and not a clean loss. Drew affecting the match. It's building to something. Sami Zayn is on a road. I don't know what it leads to, but I hope it's something good. And Cody with the save expected. I'm surprised we didn't head into last night with the tag match coming off of what happened at the end of last week's Raw. But I'm sure that's still coming. Probably be another schmoz finish with Drew and Cody that leads to the tag match the next week. You got so many weeks of television to fill, so that's how they're doing it.
And plus, they seemingly want to put Cody on like Raw most weeks, so he needs something to keep himself busy, and it seems like going at it with Nakamura and Drew is his way of keeping busy.
Yeah.
We got Queen Monet who says, I don't know if Indy will make it, but I'm really hoping Grayson gets a segment at Chamber. I'm fine. I'm good. They can be on the pre-show.
Come on.
On the pre-show.
Grayson Waller's got to be on that main card.
I'm good. Queen Bonet says those would literally just be the final 6 women from the Rumble outside of Bayley. Yeah, they just decided to have them win qualifying matches instead of just saying the last 6 women in the Rumble who didn't win can be in the chamber like they did last year.
I find it funny like the women have a last chance battle royal, but the men don't.
Kind of sexist. I don't know, WWE.
And like some of the women are going to be in there are getting a first chance, not even a last chance.
It's their last chance. Yeah. I never got a first one. We got another super chat donation from, of course, the good brother Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. He says the way Seth did his promo about the bloodline and how they need to get the title off Roman is the way WCW should have done with them getting the title off the NWO. They really did. They built it up like that. That Sting was the final chance. Sting was the savior. They did build it up like that. They didn't.
Sting assembled a team. Baby faces.
Well, no, he didn't assemble the team, but he's not noting that part of it. But Sting was like built up as like the final chance for WCW to overcome the NWO and Hollywood Hulk Hogan. They just didn't pull the trigger when it actually came to the show.
Which, don't put it past them for Cody to lose again. Do not put it past them.
I am not putting it past them.
Just for this Hogan crap that I don't give a shit about. It's not a record. Who cares? They're already calling him. You heard Seth. He's like, he's the greatest champion of the modern era. Screw Hulk Hogan.
I mean, is Hulk Hogan the modern era?
The modern era would be like everything from WrestleMania forward. WrestleMania 1 forward.
I thought
WrestleMania era.
Okay, you could say that the WrestleMania era. I would think like modern era is like post Attitude Era.
Depends on how you look at it.
Yeah. It depends on your definition of modern era. But that brings us to the end of this week's Monday Night Raw. Guys in the chat, you know what to do. Final call for your super chat donations. You guys have been excellent as always with your super chat donation on this week's show. And final call for your match of the night. MVP, LVP, whether you gave the show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give the show? For me and Romeo, for the February 12th, 2024 edition of Monday Night Raw. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle in 3, 2, 1. Am I frozen?
No.
Okay. Thumbs up across the board from both of us here. And out of 10, what did you give the show?
7.6.
7.6. I'm just going to go with a 7. It seemed like a lot of the matches were like basics. $7 on above one or two matches. One or two matches was really above that, and only slightly above that. Nothing was great on this show as far as the in-ring work, but the promos were great, and I feel like that carried the show as far as the two promos that I noted earlier with the Cody and Seth and the Becky, Nia and Rhea.
You guys in the chat gave it, you tied it 0 to 6 and a 7, 32% each. So 6 and 7 range, I assume, and 20% at 8, 16% at 9.
That seems fair enough. And what was your match of the night, Romeo?
The 6-man Imperium, New Day, Jey.
Yeah, I think that was easily for me the match of the night. I think that was kind of. I think the only thing that came close throughout the rest of the show was the main event.
Probably.
Yeah. We got. King Potato, he says modern era is post WCW in my opinion, like 2001 plus. Okay. Yeah, like let us know what your definition of modern era is. We got Big Man Dogs. He says joined just in time to give this show a 7.5. That's really good. Frantic World says I didn't watch it, but it's a thumbs up for Nia Jax. Okay.
We got one Nia Jax fan in the chat.
Savet says 7.5, says a thumbs up. We also got Eric Isaac, who says MVP Cody and Seth, LVP Nia Jax, match of the night, New Day Jey versus Imperium. Who is your MVP for the show, Romeo?
Nia Jax can't hate LVP. Come on, man. What you asked me? The match of the night or the MVP?
Yeah. MVP.
Seth freaking Rollins.
Big time agree. Seth freaking Rollins is the MVP for the show. The best promo of his entire career, in my opinion.
Cody's shield.
Cody's shield. The Iron Man to Cody's Captain America. LVP for the show, Romeo.
I want to punch you in your stupid mouth, stupid face. LVP is Bronson Reed. You don't get to go to a fucking pay-per-view in his home country. You blew it. That's Big L, man. How does it get worse than that? That's not Nia Jax. It's Bronson Reed. Nia Jax looks strong.
I'm going to say Australians are the LVP because of Bronson Reed. Yeah, Indy Hartwell in the office begging to get an opportunity that she's not going to win.
We'll be the LVP next week.
We all know she's not going to win. And Rhea Ripley finally got a one up on Nia Jax, but she needed her arch enemy to do it. Like it's like no one got W's if you were from Australia on this show. Even your W's got stains on it.
Damn.
Sad. But yes, let us know in the comments down below if you're watching on demand what you thought about this week's Monday Night Raw. What was your match of the night? MVP, LVP, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give the show? Romeo, let the people know where they can follow you on social media.
For Romeo Anthony, all forms of social media. Elimination Chamber watch along. Not this Saturday, next Saturday morning.
Next Saturday morning. Yes, indeed. Elimination Chamber. And we'll let you know probably on next week's podcast, we'll know for sure, probably by the end of this week, when we will be doing our Elimination Chamber preview, but be on the lookout for that. You can follow me on the social media
Do
platform.
we know any Aussies?
I'm trying to figure that out. I thought about that. I think we know about one or two, maybe. Follow me on the social media platform at True Heel SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Heel Heat. Patreon.com/True Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. Got Review of Honor that's up there right now, and we'll have a video dropping a little bit later for you to enjoy as well. But go out of your way to check out all the great content we got on the channel right now. Like yesterday, we did our NJPW New Beginning in Osaka review, talking about the superb Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. 30-minute epic, talking about the crazy, insane dog pound steel cage match with United Empire and the Bullet Club War Dogs, and the emotional goodbyes for Will Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada, and what the hell is going on with Okada in New Japan, why he is getting a very low-key departure. We talked about that as well, so go over and check that out. But if you haven't already, drop the thumbs up, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family, and of course, hit that subscribe button if you will. And yes, we said we're gonna do a watch along for Elimination Chamber. Come on, man.
Join us.
Join us. We got Big Man Dog says I'll actually be able to watch Elimination Chamber live. That's awesome.
There's a lot of people out there. Yeah.
That's awesome. But for Romeo, it is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. This has been Rated Raw Review number 10, Cody's Shield, for the February 12th, 2024 edition of Monday Night Raw. We are signing off until next time. Peace, y'all.